So today I'll be jumping onto the microwave of carnage. This is for the juggalos and juggalettes. Do not try this at home. I hope you like it. Whoop whoop! Fuck this shit! Whoop whoop!
And that
Great
was
Wheeler
just the
Yuta,
AEW
everybody.
show.
The Great Wheeler Yuta.
And that was a high spot.
That was a high spot for Wheeler Yuta. They did that, I guess, outside the arena at Dynamite last night.
I need a drink before we even start.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Square Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast, the fastest moving hour and 15-minute wrestling podcast on the interwebs, as they like to say. My name is Johnny Bottles. I am known in certain circles as the Hot Pockets Impresario. To my left is Dr. Donald P. Wayne. The neckbeard I thought you were about to say something. The neckbeard psychologist. You know him, you love him from Twitter. And the P stands for precious, like Precious Paul Ellering.
Stands
Don,
for something, pal.
It was an action-packed week of wrestling this week in just 3 days. In just 3 days, Don. And we had a Wednesday night war. We'll tell you all about that.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Well,
no. Now we're going to talk. Everybody calm down. We're going to get to the ratings. I promise you we're going to get there. We got some news I want to cover first because unlike most weeks, we actually did watch NXT and AEW. Not at the same time. I wanted to make sure that the shittiness of both of these shows could wash over me because let me tell you something. If Shawn Michaels ever books another show like that, I'll never watch another NXT as long as I live. It was trash, and I'm going to talk about it here shortly. But I want to start off with some good news for everybody at home. Just jump, dude.
you all of a sudden you finally watch an episode of NXT from front to back to front, and you just all over it. You defecated all over it.
Dude, if I could have done it in the ring, I would have, because these jokers sure did. It was a joke of a show. Joke of a show from start to finish. I feel like I'm watching bad goof wrestling from the early 90s with half of these guys and their gimmicks. From the Italian idiot to bringing back ECW that should have never happened.
The family, the Italian guy, the Soprano-style mobster, is starting to wear thin. That act is starting to wear thin. That's all I can tell you.
I do have some news I want to cover for everybody at home because I know Becky Lynch does have a humongous following. She's been missed by her absence. I want to get into that real quick. The latest news says there is a humongous apparel company that is coming into the WWE to actually manufacture their clothing now, or some of their clothing lines, I should say. Mm-hmm. The potential uses include Stone Cold Steve Austin, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, and Becky Lynch.
Ooh.
These companies are worldwide and are worth billions of dollars. So this is something the WWE is very interested in. So we've got a partnership with a major athletic clothing line that has not been released in name. So I don't know who it could possibly be. I don't have any guesses. It could be Nike. It could be Puma for all I know. But I think it's a pretty telling thing that her contract ran out in June. And she's still in the marketing books. You know what I mean? She's not getting paid as a wrestler. She's not around right now. She's not an in-ring performer. But companies are still very interested in the Becky Lynch business. By the way, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so before. If it's your first time, hit that notifications button. Hit that like button. Super Chat is open. What else do you think about that little bit of news?
I think it would benefit Bianca Belair more so than anybody else. I'll tell you why. Bianca Belair designs a lot of her own clothes. She makes all her own ring attire. She goes and carries around a sewing machine with her when she's out on tour and makes her own clothes. She throws together an outfit overnight back at the hotel room and wears it the next day at the arena. She knows how to do all that stuff. Amazing.
So, I'm excited to hear about this. I want to see where this goes. That made my day.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I will say one thing. Becky Lynch, I predict, when Seth Rollins goes away for a little extended leave, you will see Becky Lynch sign the contract, if she hasn't already, and come back and be an in-ring competitor. Good to have one parent at home with a small child who's starting to go to kindergarten, starting to go to. She might be even in first grade for all I know right now. That child's she's been around for a while. So
yeah, I mean,
Becky's being a mom. Becky's being a mom. It happens.
She's living her dream, man. She's got all the money she needs. She can stay at home if she wants to. She can come back when she wants to for the big shows because she's that big of a star now. So I look forward to seeing her return. I hope the ring rust wears off quick. Kind of like Kenny Omega, who's due back here in the next coming months. Have you heard about Kenny Omega's miraculous return?
In January, he's returning, Don. I can't wait to see him on AEW television again.
Rumor has it that come Wrestle Dynasty on January 15th, on January 5th, if Omega is cleared by that day, they're gunning for that day, Meltzer said, who also acknowledged that New Japan Pro Wrestling shot a backstage angle between Omega and Gabe Kidd for some sort of a future yada yada bullshit. I don't care. No one cares.
So he's coming back for New Japan.
Well, that's sort of the angle they shot. But here's the thing. Is it even a brand anymore? And I was having this discussion with somebody today. Is it even a brand anymore? All the stars are gone. Does it even matter anymore if the stars are gone?
Well, look, you've got to give him time to build new stars. And Gabe Kidd, he was a young up-and-comer when all those guys were there. And now he's a big star. And the heavyweight champion of New Japan is Zack Sabre Jr. now, who he's been around for a long time. And he was just in AEW, I believe. I think, 2 pay-per-views ago? London? No, he was in London at All In.
You could tell me he could be in my living room right now. I wouldn't know who the hell the guy is.
Zack Sabre Jr., Don. Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay. You can keep saying his name. It's like me telling
Zack
you, this is my friend William Joe. You'd be like, who the hell is William Joe?
Here's my buddy over here, Steve Rabinowitz, and his friend Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't know who the hell they are. And I don't care who he is. Look, I'm not a big fan of what Kenny Omega does in the ring. That's not a lost fact here. I mean, it's pretty well known. I'm not a big fan of the flippy fly. Nobody sells shit. We just sit here and do a million moves for each other. And Kenny Omega is one of the inventors of that entire style. So I'm not a fan of it. But I can admit, him coming back to the AEW brand would be a huge bonus for that team, kicking off their new, contract in January on their new time slots, possibly on their new channel. That's a really big deal. I can see how it's such a big deal, and AEW fans should be legitimately excited about it. I am, to a point. I'm excited that maybe because of the injuries he's had, maybe some of the, crazy bumps he's taken, maybe he slows down and starts wrestling a more traditional storyline type match. I can hope. Right?
Maybe.
We can always hope.
Maybe.
There's also news that another member of the Samoan Dynasty has signed with the WWE.
Which one is that, Don?
Apparently it's Lance Inoue, signed back in the summer, but he hasn't made a debut yet because he's been injured.
Lance.
You know the story? Yeah. They're saying he's going to show up. He was seen wearing an NXT shirt.
Wow. Interesting.
So
maybe
I'm pretty
NXT
excited about that.
Take care of the ring rust. There's Lance right here. There's Lance.
Holy shit.
Now, is he a cousin of Roman Reigns, or is he an actual brother?
I think he's a cousin
of Roman Reigns. He might be a brother because they share the same last name. Anoa'i.
Okay, I mean...
No, couldn't tell you,
Is that
pal.
right out of high school? How old is that kid?
He's got a young face, pal. Where do you see Zilla Fatu, who is in the Reality of Wrestling's Booker T's promotion in Texas? Word on the street is Zilla Fatu's coming in as part of the WWE ID program.
Okay. Well, that's a big program. They got it up and going. By the way, the biggest news of the week to me was WWE
the Rampage ratings.
Will you stop? WWE announced a European tour coming up for the road to WrestleMania.
Sure.
Do you have anything on that? Because I saw there's going to be a Raw in Europe and a SmackDown in Europe, I think I saw, and a couple of house shows. So it's a really big deal. And here's what's breaking here lately. Netflix is considering running those live Raw broadcasts on the tour. Instead of having them be taped for later on in America, just run them live and you can go back and watch it later. So I thought that was a pretty good idea.
If you're home in the afternoon on a Monday or on a Tuesday, you could just click on Netflix at 12 o'clock and watch Cody Rhodes wrestling in Rome, Italy.
I mean, I put it in my office because God knows today I needed something to just kill. I just kill the boredom because it was just nonstop today in the office with emails. I was
Just
like,
terrible.
oh God, I gotta wait on this one. Yeah, I don't get into it. I'm here to talk shitty wrestling, not shitty work, or shitty walk for that matter.
Shitty walk. Shitty walk. Can I help you?
If you don't watch
Hello,
South
Shitty
Park,
Walk.
I've got a
Love
couple
South.
little.
Dude,
Yes.
that was one of the most epic episodes of that character. I forgot his name. The guy who owns City
I
Walk.
can't remember either. Yes,
It's just
I can't remember either.
amazing. Amazing stuff. Even though it's very, very racist, it's amazing stuff. But go
It's
ahead.
over the. It's over. Well, I got some Malachi Black news, but I want to cover that here in a minute.
We'll
because
cover that
right
when
now-
we do our review of Dynamite.
I want to talk about NXT because I watched that show, and it did 619,000 on the rating with
Yes.
a 0.17 demo, I think, or 0.19 somewhere in there. I can't remember. Don't quote me. It's somewhere up there. But the reason this is a big deal is because they were going head to head with AEW, and I guess we could talk about AEW's overall viewership right now. We don't have to
Why don't
go
we
into
just
detail. I don't want to go into
Why don't-
detail, though.
Why don't we just go and talk about the high points in the ratings for NXT?
You
Who's
got the
over with
NXT quarters.
I got them side by side, my friend, in this map. In this
What
graph.
did this? Let's just. We're going to talk about it as we go through. But what did they start at? NXT.
NXT with the video package of Lola Vice versus Jade Parker started
Just
at
what did it start at?
665,000.
What did it end at?
It ended at 625,000.
So it stayed right about where it ended up at for the show overall. It stayed in that range.
It had a few ebbs and flows, and the
I'm
ebbs
sure
and
it did, and
flows-
I'm.
the ebbs and
We'll
flows
talk about
took
it.
place.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Save it. Don't give it away because I want to go through this thing. I want to go through this thing and shit on this show that crooked-eyed bastard decided was going to go head-to-head with AEW. And AEW only did 523, I think, or 526. They lost again head-to-head with a developmental brand. And I'm going to tell you now, it was never more evident in the times I've watched NXT that it's a developmental brand than when I watched last night.
Sure.
I mean, it was bad wrestling. There were bad promos. There were bad segments. I didn't know if I was watching Saved by the Bell or a wrestling program with some of the drama backstage.
It's a lot of high school drama with women.
My
and,
God, dude.
And boys, girls and boys. A lot of high school drama. Yes, it is. And it's like a Mean Girls clique versus the Good Girls clique. It's very, very, like you said, Saved by the Bellish. Great way to describe it, Don.
The show opened with the extreme type opening between NXT and ECW. They sort of did like a vibe because they were broadcasting from Philadelphia, the 2300, I don't know, stadium or box
The
office. or
ECW
whatever.
arena. That's the old
Yeah.
ECW arena.
This thing, the way it started, I was like, okay, we're going to tip that nostalgia scale, right? We're going to poke that a little bit. And I get that. They had some ECW stars there. They want to get some love on this. And it started off with Jada Parker and Lola Vice in a hardcore match. And I've heard of Lola Vice a time or two.
Yes. Ex-UFC fighter, Lola Vice.
This was sloppy. The ending was awful. Was it Dawn Marie was the special referee, right?
Yes.
And did absolutely nothing. She just
Right.
stood there. And this is what I mean why when AEW fans go, well, we beat NXT. You should beat this company. You should beat this company every week in the ratings if this is what they're putting on television. They had the girls start the show with chairs and ladders and tables, and it ended with the chick eating a brick and kicking out. She got hit in the face with a brick and kicked. Am I stuttering? She got hit in the fucking face with a brick and got and kicked out.
Yes, she did.
I understand, and after watching this, I can see it really is more geared toward the women's in the company. I can see that, or at least that's how this show came off.
If you look at the roster of NXT, there are more women than men. More women than men. because they have a lot of women athletes who were gymnasts and track stars, track and field stars. Lash Legend was a basketball star, a collegiate basketball star. Those are the type of girls they're bringing in.
And again,
so very athletic, but
yeah, I can't blame the girls for the ending of this match. This was put together by somebody backstage, whoever that is, that said, "I want you to get hit in the face with a brick and kick out." Fire his or her ass immediately and never let them near a stage again. Never let this happen again. It was a working brick, I get that, but it's just
a working brick.
It's awful. This
a gimmick
was
brick,
awful.
Don. When she reached for it, it wiggled, and like slid on the mat. When bricks don't do that.
Again, and I get these girls are learning, but you got to learn to walk before you do a hardcore match. My
Buddy,
God in heaven.
I don't think any man watching that match would complain about Jada Parker and Lola Vice in a match.
They're not watching it for the wrestling. That's very obvious.
Right.
They're oiled up in baby oil with frickin' slip and slide all over their room. That's what they're doing, pal. I'm sorry.
You
this
got
just
that
ain't
right,
for me.
pal. You got that right, pal. That's what they're up to.
Then we had a moment with all ego Ethan Page and Ridge Holland cutting a promo about their tag match and how they're going to beat Trick and Bubba Ray Dudley tonight. Didn't have a problem with this. I just saw the slider and the jerkins. Oh my gosh.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Don.
Jordan and Rob Van Dam are warming up backstage. Rob Van Dam.
Kalani Jordan, yes.
I just said Jordan. This segment, again, was badly acted. Rob Van Dam has never really been the guy that you could script. He's just got to say it off the cuff.
He's baked.
And you could, yes, well, he was definitely baked. But what I'm saying is,
he was definitely baked.
He's never been the guy that you put him in front of the TV and say, "Here, read this." It's got to come from him. He can't do it that way. He never has. That's why he wasn't a fan of the WWE back in the day, because he didn't like that scripted shit. And I get it. I wouldn't either. This came off as just, again, very Saved by the Bell. This chick and him are having their first talk ever. They don't know each other. They've never interacted. And suddenly they're buddies hanging out backstage.
You're assuming that's the first time they spoke. You're assuming that's the first time they spoke.
Yeah, because I see them all the time on the Twitter machine or the social media feeds. They're hanging out and doing the splits together all the time. It's just the only part about this that was good, and I did enjoy this, was suddenly the camera guy got knocked out and you hear a chair shot, right? That worked for me. You didn't have to see it. It leaves the imagination guessing. I thought that was a really good part to this.
You know, the ratings went up for this segment.
Did it? What did it go to?
674.
No kidding.
Yes.
Nostalgia, pal. Nostalgia. That's what it is. Then it happened.
What's that?
Then it happened.
An AEW match happened on WWE television.
No, this D'Angelo shit, that D'Angelo family is just the worst thing I've ever seen, Bottles. It's awful. Why are they doing this gimmick? It's terrible. And then they brought back the FBI guys from ECW, who I'd never understood. I never got any of that faction. I didn't get any of that shit. It didn't make sense then. It doesn't make sense now. It's just hokey and bad, man.
When Tony D'Angelo was a heel, it was a good gimmick. It doesn't work as a face. Doesn't work as a babyface gimmick. Can't be a member of the Mafia and have a babyface gimmick. He was taking guys, him and his cronies, were taking guys and throwing them in the trunks of cars and throwing them off of bridges and dropping them off in fields and stuff. That's when it was a great gimmick.
I'd like to take his gimmick and put it in the trunk of a car and ride it off a cliff. Just bury that thing. It's awful. That will never work on the main stage, Bottles. That gimmick is never going to work on the main stage.
No.
It's hokey
That's why he's still there.
Shit.
That's why he's still there.
High school wrestling.
That's why he's still there. He's been there a long time. And that's why he's still there. They need to get him out of this gimmick. Or do something better with it. Have like big imposing thugs backing him up and going up to the main roster.
Lose the hat and lose the stupid accent. Nobody talks like that in this day and age. It's like going back to the 30s and watching a gangster movie. Yeah, see, I'm going to slap you around. See, I'm going to do what I want to do with you there. See, I'm going to throw you in the ropes. See,
yeah, you dirty
Nobody
rat.
talks like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Nobody talks like that.
I'll talk like that for the entire show now. Yeah,
No, please don't. God knows.
yeah.
I can't take it. Then we got Javon Evans versus Wesley.
The AEW match of the night.
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't great.
Javon Evans looks like he works out with Adam Cole. Actually, he's more muscular than Adam Cole.
He is. I'm about to say, don't disrespect him that bad. He ain't that bad, pal. But the whole point of this thing was Rob Van Dam comes walking down to the stage. And did you notice? Nobody knew what the hell to do when he got there. Rob was like, do I throw a kick? Do I throw a chair? Nope. Here comes homeboy Javon Evans diving over the top rope onto Wesley. Okay. It just died right there. This whole thing died.
Did Rob look like he cared?
No, he did not look like he gave a shit.
No. He's getting paid. He's got the OnlyFans account with the wife. He's got the, with the new wife, by the way. He's got the hair dye in now. He's got the Meltzer hair dye. I noticed that right away. His hair's going from brown. I did notice the hair dye, yes. Yeah, it went from brown to black. He's got that Meltzer hair dye. It looks great. Hey, he's in great shape for his age. What's he, 54, 55 now? He looks great.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. But this is the bad part about this, right? As bad as I thought this show was overall, it can't touch AEW when we cover that here in a minute or two. Because I'm going to try to get through the end of this show. Ava Ray is the GM, correct?
The Rock's daughter.
The Rock's daughter.
The Rock's daughter is like, she's got two assistants, Robert Stone and Stevie Turner. Because if there's three people, they have no idea what to do anything with, those three people. Robert Stone was Robbie V, I believe, in TNA. He was more muscular at the time. He was doing a Jersey Shore gimmick with another guy. They were like a Jersey Shore tag team. The guy would look like Brian Cage, only shorter. He was ripped. Now look at him. He's not working out at all. But he was a manager, Don. He was a manager for a couple of big dudes, and now they have no idea what to do with the guy. He's been there a long time.
This thing sucked as soon as she came out and started talking. When she's horrible, dude.
Terrible.
Horrific.
And they're doing this with her because she's terrible in the ring. She was terrible in the ring. She blew her knee out twice. The same knee. That's how much of an oaf she is in the ring. She's horrendous, but she's the Rock's daughter. So he's on the board of directors for this company.
This whole segment set up the return of Rhino to gore somebody, and I said, where's the fast forward button? Because I don't give a shit. And then they go to the women from the 10 tag team backstage chatting amongst each other. And the bad acting continued. And I said, where's the fast forward button? Ethan Page and Ridge Holland come out. I said, where's the fast forward button? Because here comes
the Dudley Boys. Before we go on, let's talk numbers.
Go ahead.
The Ava Reigns segment lost. Well, went down to 596,000.
Oh, Lord.
663 from 650. Excuse me, from 653. I'm getting indigestion just thinking about this. So you can just do the math there as to how many people they lost.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and I can see why. The bad acting was just, it was unrelenting. It was like getting poked in the side of the ribs with a pin repeatedly, and you can't escape it.
How do you get rid of the Rock's daughter, dude? How do you get rid of her?
I have no idea, man, but she's not working. This whole thing didn't work. No. Bubba Ray Dudley came down to the ring, and I had some hope for this match. But again, I like Bubba Ray. I thought he was a great wrestler during his day. He milked his tag in for so long that I was literally thinking to myself, does he know he's supposed to tag in here because the crowd wants it? Because he's just standing there looking forever. Like there's milking it, and then there's what the hell are you doing? Are you lost in the headlights? This thing ended with all ego Page and Holland winning by pinfall, and then out comes, Bubba Ray reunites with Devon. They get a table, blah, blah, blah. You know where that goes from there. I don't want to get into this.
Of course.
Then we get the Adonis guy on a telephone with some guy named Dion Lennox in the back, and some chick comes walking out, and we got Zach from freaking Saved by the Bell arguing with Kelly. What the hell was this? And he's like, by the way, your birthday was last week. Happy birthday, but I don't want nothing to do with you. And the chick's like, oh, he remembered my birthday. What are we doing here?
Adonis's gimmick is he thinks he's a better wrestler than what he actually is, and he thinks he's more of a ladies' man than what he actually is. And he's hitting on all these chicks in NXT. That's the gimmick, pal. That's it. If I just told you, and you could just blow right through it with a fast forward. It's garbage.
Just trash. Little Guido comes out against Tony D'Angelo. They have a match. I don't give a shit. Tony D'Angelo wins. They hug. It really started becoming all friends wrestling at some point, I thought. This just got
Little
so
Guido.
bad.
Little Guido. Adam Cole's personal trainer. Little Guido was there.
I don't care. I just don't care. And I want to get to the end of this. They had they show Francine to the crowd for like 2 seconds. Everybody was hyped on Francine's return. She's like, hi, guys. That was it. That was all you saw of Francine. The great valet, Francine, who was a rock star in ECW. She was one of the few people in that company that could have gone to WWE and had a hell of a career. But she chose not to. She
went
was
to
a
WWE.
star.
She went to WWE.
I don't remember.
She was there for 6 months, I believe.
And said that's enough.
She was there for 6 months and they let her go. They didn't have anything for her. She couldn't wrestle.
Look, I'm going to put this up here because Mike Digital has made our intro music. He's done a lot for us. We appreciate you, Mike. He said, we need to sell a t-shirt that says, what are we doing here?
That'll be in the works tomorrow.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate the music. If you didn't know, Mike Digital actually made the opening music for the show, the closing music for the show. He's done a lot of the thumbnails that we use. He's done a lot of the funny stuff, so we appreciate you, Mike. Brother of the show, always.
He played the organ at the wedding, my wedding.
He did.
Played the organ.
He did.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about this 10-woman match. I'm done with the show. Give me the final numbers. Where did this go? Because this thing, nothing about this show.
What did you think of the 10-woman match? You saw a lot of women in there who are new. Jordan Grace, TNA, Jordan Grace, Knockouts champ. What'd you think of her?
When she started talking, I freaked out. Because I've only seen her a couple of times. I've only seen her a handful of times. I've never seen her talk, or heard her talk, I should say.
And she said, "Can someone give me a cigarette?"
It made me very nervous when she started talking.
Yes.
Honey, lay off the roids.
She can't, dude. She can't.
She's got to lay off of something, pal. She has to.
I've seen her without the roids. And she was just like a little bit of a chubby bodybuilder. A chubby, weightlifter. And now she's ripped because of the roids. It's a
no kidding. And she sounds like a macho man.
It's a S show is what it is. And they had Zarya, formerly Delta, Australian wrestler, who's very, very good. She's got camera presence. She knows when the camera's on her, what camera to play to in the ring. She knows exactly to hit her spots and all that. She won't be down there long. She'll be on the main roster quicker than we think. The Nikita Lyons promo with Ava, Oprah. Axiom, Nathan Frazier, the tag team champions. That gimmick went at $5.90. So that actually went up from the Bubba Ray Dudley Trick Williams match. That actually, the ratings rose a little bit. And we topped off, Don, at $625,000.
To close the show.
For the 10-woman tag match, to close the show, yes.
So again, this was my first inkling into watching this with primarily just AEW or NXT stars. I understand it's developmental, but this was sloppier than anything else that I had seen them do ever. It really was.
Let me ask you this question, Don.
I was disappointed.
Let me ask you this question. Who did you like? Who do you think's got potential?
Trick
Williams.
Williams.
Know their names.
I love Trick Williams. Trick Williams, I think, is a star.
Yes.
That guy's got to get called up, real soon. He clearly gets it. He understands it.
Right.
I thought the Will Lee, I thought he could move a little bit. I don't know if he's got main event talent yet.
Wesley, yep.
I thought he could move a little bit. The women, I couldn't tell because it was all a bunch of garbage matches. It was 10 on 10, do a bunch of shit, or garbage trash can match. You can't tell if any of those girls can work or not.
Stephanie Vacker, the black-haired girl, dressed in probably, I think it was a blue outfit. Looks like Psylocke from the X-Men cartoon show. What'd you think of her?
No, I don't remember.
How about Julia?
Don't remember her. None of them stood out, Bottles. Not a one.
None of them stood out to a first-time viewer.
Nope.
I got you. Okay.
It all ran together like a bad dream. I expected Chris Jericho to come out and sit them under his learning tree. It got so bad for a minute.
Oh, he would. Believe me, he would.
I'm sure he would, pal.
Yes, he'd even show them
he
he would even show them the root of the learning tree, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, here comes another NDA. Watch it. So that's my coverage of watching this show. I'm going to move on to AEW because I've really got to get my blood pressure going. Thanks to WrestleTix, they said 2,647 tickets were distributed for this show. Not sold, just distributed.
Yeah.
Bottles, this building holds over 11,000 people. 11,000.
Yes. And one side was empty.
Completely empty.
Completely empty. And you could tell the way they stacked them up because you actually had people in the upper portion above the floor seats, a little bit of that. Right. They didn't shoot a lot of it. But they shot some of it. On the go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll just
on the opposite of the hard cam side.
Right.
You could see there was where the seats start to rise up, there were some people up there. So
it was blacked out almost throughout the whole show, man. They didn't show much.
Yeah, they didn't show much. You couldn't because it's just a disaster. It's a disaster.
I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that like button, folks. It's not that hard. Hit that subscribe button. I want to thank you all for joining tonight. The super chat is open. Uzi shows those pictures on Twitter. I want to give him a shout out real quick because he is pissing off AEW fans faster than most accounts that I've ever seen. He's grown rapidly and he's got them all hating on his ass. So congrats on that.
Heel Uzi.
The heel Uzi, yes. What did this show start off the rating?
Hang on a second. Have you heard that they're announcing for all upcoming 2024 shows 40% ticket discount?
Yes, I did see that. I thought it was just this show, but this is all shows?
All shows remaining for 2024. A
no
40%
kidding.
discount. They're trying to pack people in, trying to do whatever they can.
Damn, man. Damn.
Hot garbage, Don. Hot
garbage. But this is why I had such high hopes for this show. You had professional wrestlers lead off AEW. For the first time, I think, since I can remember, the Hurt Syndicate comes out. Used to be the Hurt Business. Now they're the Hurt Syndicate. And Tony stands there and MVP busts out his own mic and shoos Tony away. And we've been talking about it.
Why?
And talking about it. Mm-hmm. Why do they even need him to introduce them anymore? Just bring them out, man, because they're going to shoo them away anyway.
Walk them down to the ring. Open hot with that. Or why not, instead of opening with the crowd and Excalibur talking and the other idiots, why not do a promo package? Why not do a recap of what happened last week? Bring people up to speed. Why not? Do like a quick, 60-second, well, it's at AEW, 30-second hot point. The hot points from last week in 30 seconds. Throw them up on the screen real quick.
Yeah, here's what happened last week. Let's recap last week in wrestling at AEW. And then do it.
And then bring out the Hurt Syndicate. Bring them down to the ring. Hand them microphones. No Tony Schiavone. Doesn't need to be there. He doesn't need to be on TV. He's a 70-year-old man with a bad dye job. He should just stay away. Stay in the back. Do backstage interviews. We say it all the time. I'm starting to get hot, Don. I hate Tony Schiavone.
It's not that I hate him. It's just that he's useless in this role. He should be backstage. He should be taking that bloated idiot's job that's actually interviewing talent backstage. That guy's worthless as tits on a bull.
Jarhead?
Yeah, that mullet head.
If Bobby the Brain hated Tony Schiavone, I hate him too. If Bobby didn't like you, that's good enough for me.
Again, this started off with MVP on the mic. He is talented. He's so good. He belongs here. It felt like the opening of a professional wrestling show. And he says, If I offer you a card and you refuse it, this happens. And then they show the recap of last week where they kicked the hell out of Swerve Strickland.
Yes.
Pros, pro.
Even Prince Nana got his ass kicked.
Yes. And then Swerve comes out, and he's got a chain, and suddenly there's 4 refs in the way. There are never refs in the way of anything that happens in this company. And now suddenly the refs are stopping him. Suddenly the refs have power because they get their ass kicked every week, and suddenly they can stop it.
On the other channel. That's where they get that from. They copied it from the other channel. But go ahead, Don.
It's just so random the way that they use the refs in their officiating capacities to me. It's random and it makes no sense. And it makes them feckless dorks when they get in the ring and they don't count anybody out and they don't have any control of any match that they ever get in. I hate the refs in this company. I hate how they're used. Of all the things that you should be focusing on as a fan, the refs stick out like a sore thumb that's just been beaten with a hammer by a blind drill man.
Dude.
Just
even Aubrey Edwards was out there waving her hands frantically like she's trying to land a freaking airplane. It was ridiculous. It's just horrible. Swerve looked good. Swerve looked good.
I liked his new hairstyle. I thought that was a good look for him. He looked like he was working out. All right, pal.
I like this new hairstyle.
I did like his hairstyle.
Lord.
No, it looked good. He looks like he's looking.
Prince Nana had on lip gloss. It's not his shade, but he looked fantastic.
Are those new threads?
They look dreamy. Both of those guys together look dreamy.
I thought it was a good look, and then he just says 2 words, full gear. Okay, well, I guess we're getting this to full gear. We're going to go from 0 to full gear just like that. And we talked about it last week. There was no need to beat Ben. There's no need for it. There was no need for it. They could have done this a million different ways. Anyway.
You're right. You're right.
The next part was a pocket segment where they recap the Cracker Clan. And then, of course, the Cracker Clan comes out. And they walk.
They're not the Cracker Clan anymore, Don. They got a new name. They got a new name.
The Road Riders?
The Death Riders, Don.
Yeah, the Road Riders.
Death Riders.
They're riders, all right, but it starts with a C. Anyway, they come out to the ring. I can't get over this. It's actually the tag team, it turns out. I thought it was actually them, but it was Pac, Wheeler, and Claudio. And they come out.
Claudio Cannoli.
Did you notice there was a random plate and a toy just sitting there? And Claudio just kicks the toy in the air. Just the most random shit ever. What was this?
I say that every time I watch this show. What was this? At 10:06 every Wednesday night, I say, what was this?
Did you notice he kicked the toy in the air, though?
I couldn't care less. It's just garbage. While they're all coming to the ring, I got up and got another drink, took a squirt, made a sandwich, came back, still gaga in the ring. Garbage. Didn't like any of this. Didn't like a single thing about this. Sting's retarded young son was wrestling with Orange Cassidy in his new black outfit.
Oh, that was good.
Against Claudio Cannoli and Pac, who
better.
Just has obviously Pac lost his luggage on an overseas flight. He lost all his clothing.
This is all he has.
I'm sure he gets paid a nice salary by Tony Khan to be able to afford new clothes, but I don't understand any of it.
Well, it starts off with pockets coming out. He stands.
Can I tell you what they started off with?
Sure.
666, Don, the devil's number. 666,000 people.
That was the opening show. That was the opening.
Big fall
opening
off.
Show.
Big fall off from the Big Bang Theory. Big fall off of the Big Bang.
What was the Big Bang Theory again?
And I will say the hot blonde at the end of the Big Bang Theory, because I saw
was in a bikini.
The hot blonde had on like a swimsuit or something. I don't know what she had on. Is that what it was? A swimsuit was a bikini, Don. Yeah, it's safe.
Again, I ask you, what did it start off with?
666,000, Don. So I would say a lot of people have seen all those episodes of the Big Bang Theory now.
Okay, well, here we go.
Then we dropped down to 5.
Go ahead.
8:15?
Yeah.
When this match got started.
Yeah.
It dropped down to 575,000 people.
120 something thousand people. Can't do the math on top of my head. I'm having drinks. 120 something thousand people.
109,000 people. 109,000 people.
So that's it. I'm out. I don't want to do this
anymore.
Out. A sixth of the audience is gone almost. Just gone.
Gone.
Darby dives off the top of the damn entrance stage. We haven't seen that move before. The match breaks down. We haven't seen this before. Claudio comes to the ring and starts beating up Darby. Did we get an advertisement for a meal in the match commercial? I thought this thing had already started. I thought this was done. They're just now finally getting it off the ground. This is just starting.
Meal in the match? They've done meal in the match before.
That's
no one watches it. No one watches it. They did it last year. No one, the early part of this year. A meal in a match. They've done a couple episodes of it. No one watches it. That's why they're pushing it on their own. They're running ads for their own product that's on the internet, on YouTube. They're running a YouTube ad for their own product on their own show because they can't sell advertising on this show.
Again, Darby tags it on the coldest tag in history on a bad tag. Why is it so hard for tag matches today to get a hot tag? Do you remember when the Rock and Roll Express or the British Bulldogs, the other guy would be getting his ass kicked, and he's been trying to get to the corner forever, and he can't get there, and he keeps getting cut off. And then finally that one moment where he hits the guy and dives and tags his partner in, and the crowd goes crazy. And now the other tag, both those guys are coming in, and it's just chaos, and the fresh baby face is whipping ass. No. We got this chud.
Google-eyed Robert Gibson would be the hero of the day, coming in to save Ricky Morton. The kick ass. And then Ricky Morton makes a comeback in like 60 seconds. He's drop kicking thugs out of the ring. I loved it. These guys don't know how to do that, Don, because they don't listen to advice. They don't believe in watching veterans, old matches, listening to what the veterans say.
No, they don't want to hear any of that.
Because they think what they're doing is fantastic. That's why the ratings are now sub 600,000.
I said the match has been going on pretty long. It's not terrible. Pockets hasn't done any of his stupid shit. And I literally wrote this down. Never mind, here comes that stun dog shit. I don't understand this move. It's idiotic. Why is it that he does a portion of a Stone Cold Stunner and just stops and holds his head there? I've never understood it. It looks asinine. It makes no sense. It's the dumbest move you can do in a wrestling ring. This is why I can't stand this company.
It's a Slumdog Millionaire, Don. That's the name of the move.
I thought it was a stun dog.
It's the most, it doesn't really matter. It's the most devastating move of the company, Don. You should know that.
And as much as I disliked NXT, I dislike this show so much more. Because at least in NXT, you know they're trying to figure it out. These guys are supposed to be professionals, but the truth is they're a bunch of indie hacks that got hired, and most of the pros opened the show and you never saw them anymore.
NXT started at 665,000. AEW started at 666,000. They had a chance. They had a chance to book a show that made sense that would keep the NXT viewers watching AEW. They would keep the wrestling viewers watching AEW and not going to NXT. And the opposite happened. Even at the low points of NXT, and we'll get into that, AEW just cratered.
I want to talk about
this. NXT.
I want to talk about this for a minute because you and I have had a theory for a while. We're going to get back. We don't even need to finish this shitty match. We're going to talk about this. Let's finish this trash. Wheeler comes out. There's a no DQ now. Marina kicks the ref out of the ring. Mox comes down. It's BS everywhere. Darby takes an insane bump. Off the post. That looked like it was just nuts. Why the hell you would take that?
He's an idiot.
He is an idiot.
He's just a complete idiot.
The conglomeration finally comes down, and the refs say it took so long because they have a match later. Why does it matter that they have a match later? That's the dumbest, most idiotic excuse to say why they were late getting to the ring to help their friend I've ever heard.
Did you see while Darby was in the ring and just going crazy on the Wiyuta and Claudio Canoli, Moxley is outside the ring, leading on the steps and the far right-hand up-screen corner, just standing there watching the whole thing take place. Why wouldn't he climb into the ring? He was standing there for like 5 minutes watching this guy, the little skinny guy, the Daisy Dukes, and his girlfriend's tights. Run
Look
around
at
and
that
beat
girl with the
everybody up.
Daisy Dukes on. I want you to look at that girl with the Daisy Dukes on. Sorry. This sucked. And I want to talk about this
It
real
was
quick.
horrible.
We have talked about the ratings and how many WWE fans watch AEW. And we used to think it was somewhere around 300,000. I no longer believe that. I don't. I think we were way off. I think it's about 100,000 fans that watch both of these products routinely, because the numbers last night showed that 600,000 people routinely watch NXT, and 100,000 of those bailed on AEW and jumped over to the NXT show. We thought it was around 300. It's not. It's less than that. It's about a third of that. This show is built for the nichest of niche audiences. And that's why they're falling so far behind, because they cannot figure out a way to appeal to mainstream. It's been said, Eric Bischoff has said it the best. You need to have something that appeals to a certain fan base in every segment you do. It can't be for everybody, but it's got to appeal to everybody at some point in the show. Otherwise, you're not going to draw a crowd. That's why the WWE, they've rode Rey Mysterio's ass for 30 years almost, because he's the lucha style that everybody likes. That he's a star. Easy on that, pal. Vince McMahon is long gone. I'm just saying there's different segments WWE does. AEW has the same match every damn match. Do a million moves, do a bunch of shit, don't get over, kick out of everything, weird pin at the finish. Every time.
Got a guy who's hot. The crowd loves him. He's a big guy. He wrestles a smaller guy who's 5'6" in the ring. He outweighs him by 100 pounds. And that guy loses. The big guy loses. Who's hot, who's in a hot angle with somebody, he loses to the little guy. That's how they push stars in AEW.
It is.
It makes no sense whatsoever. And Tony Khan, hire a booker. You got to. You got to hire a booker.
You
can't
keep
keep doing it yourself. You can't keep listening to who's giving you suggestions right now. You need somebody who's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Arbitrary?
No, I wouldn't even say arbitrary. I would say somebody that's going to be in control.
In control of the booking situation, who's not,
Yes.
He doesn't have a dog at any fight there in the locker room, in the echelon of who's a bigger heel, who's a bigger face, who's a bigger star. Don't give a shit. No one cares. You're going to do this, or you can go home. That's what they need. They need to lay the law down to these people. I just don't understand any of this. Have a showrunner. Have a showrunner. A guy who takes care of the continuity for the shows. Every sitcom, drama series, documentary series, you name it, streaming or network, has a showrunner. A guy who keeps what's called a show Bible, who keeps the continuity going. Well, you can't do this because 3 episodes ago, you didn't like this guy because he beat your wife up or whatever. And that's why we can't do this. You got to keep it going. You got to keep the flow. There's no flow to this. It's just like a fever dream of indie wrestling. It's it's a glorified indie with production values put on national television. That's all this is.
I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. Super Chat's open. You got a question, we'd like to hear from you. I want to talk about Renee Baguette interviewing Ping Pong backstage, and he says he could have picked anybody, and nobody...
Don't do that when I'm drinking. Ping pong. Now I'm looking on the
That's who I'm calling him from now on.
Who the hell is ping pong?
That's who I'm calling him from now on. It's Ping Pong.
Who's ping pong?
You'll figure it out. Ping Pong says he could have picked anyone, but he's not going to tell any her. And then the Hurt Syndicate shows up, and they give him a big congratulations and say, good luck tonight. And that was
Ricochet. Ricochet's
Ping Pong. Ping Pong is back. Ugh.
Oh, my God. Ping pong.
They cut back to the ring, conglomeration versus the Jericho morons. Did you notice the Ring of Honor belt is white? It's got a white strap now.
Really?
Yeah.
It makes it
By the
stand out
way,
against his leathery skin.
I keep hearing that Ring of Honor is going to get a true TV television deal. I'm telling you.
No.
I'm
It ain't
telling
happening.
you. I keep hearing it.
That's a neckbeard rumor that they floated out there because Chris Jericho has a Ring of Honor belt. Everyone's saying Ring of Honor getting a TV deal now. Chris Jericho's got the belt. That's why they put the belt on Jericho. No, that's not the case at all. Not the case at all.
I don't even want to go into this match because it was so much garbage.
Do you honestly think that Ring of Honor will get a TV deal, considering the quality of that women's match for the heavyweight title in Ring of Honor they put on this past week? With Abaddon and Athena.
The table said no job.
The table said 3 times, we're not having this.
No job.
We're not having this. They try to break a table, and they didn't gimmick the table. And these girls try to break this table 3 times during a hardcore match, and it was the shits. The drizzling shits is what this was.
This match
I think
was...
I
Can
do
Jericho
like
do...
Abaddon.
Hold on. Can Jericho do anything besides a hardcore match anymore? I'm being dead serious. His last couple of matches have all been garbage matches.
When you can't go anymore in the ring in a regular wrestling match, you hide it with garbage and gaga. That's what you do. Gimmick matches and trash. That's what you do. It was fantastic, Don. This whole show had me on the edge of my seat.
You're going to go to hell for lying. Pablo's back. Pablo, good to see you, pal. Imagine if there were no ex-WWE talent. What kind of promotion would this be? I can tell you it would probably be off the air. He's exactly right. I don't think I could sit here and watch this for more than 5 minutes if there wasn't some actual professional wrestlers on this thing. Like that's sort of where I'm at. So thanks for joining us, Pablo. Thank you for the super chat, pal. We love to see you here, man.
You mention the sales pitch for this if you didn't have WWE wrestlers? Who do you have? Oh, we got the Dark Order. We got the scary Dark Order. We got Evil Uno. Isn't that a card game? No. He's a wrestler. Wears a mask. Very imposing.
Wait, no, I've got a better one. If you don't like that, I've got a better one. I got a guy that wrestles with his hands in his pockets and doesn't talk.
Ooh.
How about
He doesn't have a catchphrase?
Does not have a catchphrase.
That's fantastic. That's great.
I've got a tag team that don't sell shit and super kick anything that moves.
Wow. Who's that guy who's got his pants up to his nipples?
That would be Low Plains Drifter. He was in this match we're talking about. This thing ended. It couldn't end fast enough. Ishii gets Chrissy, beats him. Dude literally could have broke Chris Jericho's neck with that brain buster.
He dropped him right on his head.
Dude! I am not a fan of Chris Jericho, but that looked dangerous as shit. And did you see he grabbed him and said something to him after it happened? Because he couldn't get him up. Because Ishii is 50-something years old, and he's not in the best of shape anymore.
Nope.
And Chris Jericho weighs a hell of a lot more than he did in 2002.
He's in his mid-50s. He can hardly move his neck. His shoulders are shot. Who says, I want to turn on AEW Dynamite, I hope Ishii is going to be on tonight? Who says that? Who says that, Don?
Pablo says the I used to be Broke Friends Wrestling.
Broke Friends Wrestling. BFW.
BFW. I like it.
Yes.
We could go with that.
The BFW. Hey, Don, have you heard? Let's go to the BFW. Let's go to the VFW because BFW is going to be at the VFW this weekend. And they got dollar beers. Let's go.
I can't deal with what happened. I really thought Chris Jericho got hurt. I think he said something to him like, "Hey, dumbass, you could have killed me just now." It was bad.
I can't feel my feet. Thanks.
Here we go. The Cracker Clan backstage walking through here, and here we go with.
Do you want the ratings for this?
Sure. Let's get back to the Cracker Clan.
596. They went from 653 to 596. No, I'm sorry. I'm reading NXT's ratings.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Holy shit. The Ricochet MVP Learning Tree versus the Conglomeration, when that match started, they were at 516. They went.
Hey, whose ratings are you reading? I want to give them credit.
Let's see. I have no idea where I got this from. This is the actual graph put together from WrestleNomics. We'll give WrestleNomics credit. Okay, they went from 666 to 575 with the Darby Allin and Pockets, Cannoli and Pac match. They went down to 516,000 with the Ricochet MVP thing. Yes. They went to 5:35 with the end of this learning tree match.
This thing was
with
terrible.
John Moxley backstage. They went to 5:35.
We got to hurry this up a little bit, pal. Cracker Clan's here. We go again with the Wheeler Yuta used to sleep on your couch, Darby. And here we go again with this shit. And then he quotes the Birds, everything must turn. He literally quoted the Birds song. I can't deal with this John Moxley
They're
guy.
hip to all the popular groups nowadays.
Good God, Lily.
Thank you,
Adam
Birds,
Cole,
for visiting us from the year 1967.
And then the whole show is built about this, the curious case of Adam Cole, who comes out to his Bang Bus entrance to face Malachi Black. And here we go. This thing...
You got to talk about this. We got to talk about
We're going to talk about this.
I'm interrupting the show right now. What are they doing? What is this guy thinking? He looks like he's got some sort of liver disease. He's jaundiced with that shitty spray tan. And if you look to see when he rolled down his knee pad during this match to get that knee strike to Malachi Black, his knee was white.
Yes,
and his
I
body
noticed that.
was yellow. Because he must stand there in his gear and get hosed off backstage with the spray tan. I don't understand
thought he had
what
jaundice.
he's doing to him. So did I. But when he took that knee pad off, I said, well, he doesn't have any liver disease. It's amazing. He looks horrible. Horrible. Absolute garbage. Skinny. He looks like James Ellsworth could kick his ass. He looks like little Guido could beat him up.
Nothing he does, I buy. Nothing he does, I buy anymore.
Nothing.
At
And why are
least
they
when he was
pushing this
NXT, when he was at NXT, he had a little bit of a build. You could tell he was working out. He had a little bit of a physique. He was a smaller guy. He sold all the time, and he always made a comeback because he had to, because he's a smaller guy in the match. It literally looks like this guy has given up on having any kind of a physique and is just going to go out there and, by God, I'm going to wrestle. He is just... It's just so weird to see where this guy's at now. And they're putting him in this meaningless MJF scenario, this storyline that makes no sense on the face of it and means nothing to anybody. And the only reason MJF is even in it is because he's off shooting a movie and can't come in there and actually have a meaningful storyline. None of this makes sense. And he's fighting Malachi Black. Malachi Black, who, again, this is one of my pet peeves of Malachi Black. He comes to the ring and just sits there. And Stone Cold has said this about guys that sit there all the time. He said, you lose me when you do shit like that. Because in my day, if you'd have turned your back on me, I'd have jumped you from the start. He always said, if you ever noticed when I went to the turnbuckle, I was always looking back at you and throwing my hands up and real quick, and I would go back to you to make sure I couldn't get jumped. You're supposed to make this look like a fight. And none of this looks like a fight.
None of the show looks like a fight. None of it. It looks like play acting. It looks like the episode of South Park where they were play acting as professional wrestlers. That's what it looks like. Just garbage. Just absolute
Rabbit Wolverines, LC Killer 17 is back and says, AEW makes me sad or mad and sad at the same time.
When you look at the talent they got, Don, and they can do better than this. But the guy that owns it wants to write it. He's got the Herb Abrams disease. He does. That's the problem. I actually think, Don, that Herb Abrams put together better shows in the day than what we see now in AEW. At least those guys look believable.
Look, Abrams looked real believable running around with a bat and his underwear coked out of his mind.
He was naked, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
Naked. He just had on cowboy boots, Don. Remember that?
Just
a bat and cowboy boots, chasing a whore out of the hotel through the lobby.
Come here!
Give me back my wallet!
What a wild time. Thank you, Rabbit Wolverine, for the super chat. We appreciate you, brother. Glad to see you back in here, man.
Yes, indeed.
This match goes on and on. Cole kicks out of stuff, and then we get the finisher. Why does everybody kick out of finishers in today's wrestling? And this isn't just WWE. AEW's real bad about it. But there was a time where when you hit it, that was it. That's why it's called a finisher. Now
the
it
Panama
means
Sunrise.
Nothing.
The Panama Sunrise. Malachi Black got hit with that and stood up and looked around. And then Cole hit him with something and knocked him down. And then Malachi Black decided to...
Here we go.
Here we go.
He just sits there. He just sits there. Like, I'd like for you to go ahead and finish me, please. Worst, this was by far the worst ending to any show I saw last night between NXT and AEW. This took the punch bowl turn. Horrible ending.
How do you justify this?
I can't.
If you're a neckbeard, how do you, and you deal with neckbeards every day, Don, you're the psychologist. How do you justify this?
It's terrible. It's just terrible. I can't. I hate this with a passion. I hate matches that end this way.
This looked like a guy who's nursing an injury that almost ended his career, wrestling another guy who wants to get the F out of where he's at. And we'll get into that in a minute. It looks like he could be out of there, but he says no, but who knows. I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want to hurt you. So let's just take it easy on each other. And you want to go ahead and finish this match. It smelled of the Jarrett Hogan.
It smelled of shit.
It smelled of the Jarrett Hogan thing from TNA.
Where he just laid down.
No, from WCW. Where he laid down for Hulk Hogan. Yes.
And I see somebody in the chat responding to it saying, mentioning the Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, I love you spot. I hated that trash. That took me out of the moment. Why the hell would you say that? It was dumb then. It was stupid last night. I will stand on the same line down the middle.
Should Shawn Michaels have laid down for Ric Flair?
No, he should have just kicked him, bragged about it, and left. That shit is ridiculous. I don't care.
That was his idol.
Yeah, but I got to retire your old ass.
I'm wrestling my idol. I got to retire you. So, hey, whether you like it or not, I'm sorry. I love you. I got to do this. Boom.
Yeah, but I hate it. I hate that he said that. It was stupid. He should have just kicked the shit out of him and then said it after the fact.
Malachi might have said, I'm sorry I banged Britt Baker. I'm sorry that happened. Go ahead. I'll take one for the team. Go ahead and put me out. Hit me hard so I can take off. Hit me hard so I can take off 6 months. Now, he probably said, don't hit me hard because if you hit me hard and I get hurt, I'll be out for 6 months, and that means I have 6 months added onto my contract in this freaking hellhole, and I'll never be able to leave.
Which I want to talk about that because there's rumors flying that his contract's coming up, and this might have been his way out the door. That's flying left and right.
Do you want to see what he said?
I saw what he said. And he can say what he wants to say.
He's not injured. He's not retiring. He's not leaving. That's what he said on Instagram. Malachi Black. I'm not injured, nor am I retiring, nor am I leaving.
It felt like he was leaving. This whole
did. I saw it. Great. Aleister Black is coming back to WWE.
I hope the hell not. I can't stand anything he does. I don't like his gimmick. He is a Temu Undertaker.
Yes. Yes, he
really is.
He's very...
Anyway, after this thing, we spent enough time on this. Let's get to it.
Sure.
Cole starts talking. He says, I talked to Tony Khan, and when Roddy gets his third win, we get a three-way match with you so we can kick your ass, MJF. Why are the baby faces jumping the heel? What the hell is going on here?
The baby face is a heel now, and the heels are both baby faces.
And they're going to jump
reasons.
And they're going to jump him.
And they're going to jump him and kick his ass. They're telling a story right now that Roderick Strong and Adam Cole are going to have a feud. That's what they're doing.
That's
MJF's
what I
going to sit back and laugh. Yes. That's what they're leading.
And he's going to say, I talked to Tony Khan too, and you guys have to wrestle each other because it's not fair. Or some horse shit. I don't care because we cut to MJF's segment, which was bad. He makes a phone call.
Let me ask you this question. No. He wrestled the House of Black. He wrestled Buddy Matthews last week. He wrestled Malachi Black this week. Why isn't he wrestling Brody King next week? That big gelatinous 7 foot tall.
That's the same question I keep having, man. If you're going to wrestle two of these guys, shouldn't it be the third one? The big fat blob of a tattoo next? That's who should be next. But it's going to be Roddy. It's going to be Roddy.
He's wrestling Takeshita next week. That's who he's wrestling.
back to the shit show where
Well, he's wrestling Takeshita, and here you go. Here's a size difference. Here's Takeshita in the red trunks, and here's little Adam Cole right here, the angry Starbucks barista. Getting into it like
I said I want a double latte. I said soy milk, bitch.
This is look at this. This is ridiculous. Why doesn't this man work out? Can I ask you that question?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about him anymore. I'm done with him. Renee Baguettes with Jay White. Nope.
What's the thumbnail of the show?
We're moving on because we got a lot more to go
Fall off of Adam Cole.
And we talked about it. He jumped off the cliff. His underwear came off. He's been exposed. It is what it is. WWE was right. He should be a manager. That's what he should be doing. He'd be great in that role. Yes, and he'd be great in that role.
They wanted him to manage Keith Lee. Now look at Keith Lee.
Where the hell is Keith Lee?
He's got health problems. He's out.
Of course
with
he
health
does.
Problems. If you saw what he ate around the house, which I did on Twitter, he had one of those 12 taco boxes from Taco Bell.
I'm not getting into this.
He ate the whole thing. I'm just saying, if a guy is that large with all that sodium, his blood pressure must be through the roof. That's all I can tell you.
Renee Baguette is with Jay White.
Renee Baguette.
Hangman comes out of nowhere.
Google eye?
This is what pissed me off about this. Renee Baguette is interviewing Jay White, and Hangman literally comes from the camera side and attacks Jay White. Is he blind? Can he not see this coming?
Maybe
what the hell
bright
is
lights. Jay, by the way, last night Jay White looked like Colin McGregor's hillbilly cousin. That's what he looked like. He looked horrendous.
I don't even
every time he talked, at least he didn't talk for 20 minutes like he usually does, and says the same things over and over again. He got what he had to say out in the ring, and that was it. But Pablo, the real one, says, because Don's laughing about it, he banged him with the lights off and disappeared when the light company turned it back on for non-payment. Thank you for the $4.99, Pablo.
Good
God bless you. Man. Pablo with some witty repartee.
That was pretty good.
What a great show this was, Don.
Thank you all again for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button, the ring-a-ling on the ding-a-ling, because Baguette's backstage again, this time with Statlander, and we get an attempted vehicular homicide. What are we doing here?
You don't even see the car hit Statlander.
No, you just hear the chaos. And apparently they missed her because Mercedes Moné is yelling at her goon in the car. The goon gets out, gets her arm slammed in the car. Then Statlander power bombs or throws Mercedes on the hood of the damn car.
She fell a huge 12 inches. From Statlander's shoulder to the hood of the Escalade, she fell a huge 12 inches and then rolled off and hit the ground, and she couldn't get up again. She was just completely destroyed. And Camille had her arm slammed in the car door, a la Dusty Rhodes, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson.
No, for real, I hope they had that rig because it looked good. I'm not going to bullshit about that. It looked good. It really did. And it just did.
Once again, I'm going to say on this show, you got a talent like Camille Brickhouse, who is just mopping up after Mercedes Moné.
Getting sloppy seconds.
Garbage.
And then we got a serious angle. We got Christian Cage, right? I don't think this is the best angle he can be in, but he's so good on the microphone. Christian Cage comes out and he shits on his other son, which I thought was great. He shit on Wayne Brady, or Wayne, whatever the hell his name is.
Nick Wayne. Wayne
that guy.
Brady. Wayne Brady. Yes.
He shits all over him. It's just, Cage admits he took out Taz with a lead pipe because your dad was in an outlaw promotion. This was gold because the ECW NXT angle was going on, and he's shitting all over it and calls it an outlaw
all over
show.
NXT. Right.
It was perfect. I enjoyed this so much. And then, of course, Hook comes out, and you hear...
Say it.
It's the sign! No, it's the signal!
It's over for Hook.
It's just over. So bad. And you've been trying to tell me forever that it wasn't. And I was telling you it's over. Now you're on my side, so I'm glad we can meet in the middle here.
It's over. You ever hear the phrase the kids say, They fumbled the bag. They
I hear
fumbled
that
the
all the
hook.
time.
They fumbled the hook. They could have
And
made something out of this kid. At least he weighs more than Orange Cassidy. They could have made something out of the kid. He's got a pedigree. Ex-ECW WWE star. Taz is his father. They could have done something with him. But they stop, start. It's just garbage. Garbage. Why have him feud with a faction? Have him feud with one guy. He's feuding with a faction. He's going to go through Kip Sabian. He's going to go through Nick Wayne to get to Christian Cage.
Can I say something real quick on this?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Why does his music suck ass so bad?
That's music they paid for, I believe, from
Apparently
Action
a deaf
Bronson.
guy.
Some
a
rapper.
Deaf rapper. A deaf rapper.
Yes. Action Rob Bronson. It was a rapper he was big 15, 16 years ago.
Every great wrestler's iconic theme music either has lyrics you can understand or music that as soon as it hits, you know they're coming out.
Yes.
Randy Orton, you know the lyrics right away. It comes out
Yes.
jamming. You can understand them. Stone Cold was just glass breaking. Ric Flair you knew that was coming right away.
Yes, of course.
Macho Man, Pomp and Circumstance, you knew that was coming.
You knew
loved
who was coming.
it. Roddy Piper's Pipes, you knew it.
You could play 80% of the theme music that you heard on this show, and no one would know who they are.
Not a damn clue.
Not a clue.
I can't understand shit this guy's saying. I can barely hear the music. I can't hear anything that makes me want to see him. Nothing appeals to me about any presentation they're giving this guy. Be it the damn the Scully that's down to his eyes so I can't see what the kid looks like, or eating a bag of Fritos in the background, or wearing black sweatpants and hoodies the whole time. Nothing about this kid is appealing at all, and the music is the cherry on top of a shit sandwich. X-Pac should be proud.
This quarter hour is over,
Yeah,
and I'm going to give you the rating for it right now.
go ahead.
469,000 people.
Wow. So it's not just
This is
us.
No, this is where they fell off the cliff big time. They dropped from 511 down to 469.
And we're going to cover all of this real quick.
It gets worse, Don. It gets worse.
That's why we're going to cover this so fast. Marvez is backstage with Don Callis. Some guy shows up. It just gets weird. He gives him the diamond ring.
That's the guy the Hook called. Not Hook. MJF called.
Yeah, I know.
In that vignette, yes. That vignette they taped probably a month ago.
This is when I said, this guy cannot book. Penelope Ford, who just came back, is fighting Jamie Hayter, who also recently just came back. Why do we have two women returning to the ring for the first time in a long time, having a match this early in their returns?
Because when Jamie Hayter came back in her first
Wrong
match,
answer. Wrong answer.
She got hit in the
Wrong
back
answer.
by a chair.
Wrong answer.
Penelope
Wrong
Ford
answer.
just walked out.
Wrong answer.
I'm trying to tell you. Penelope Ford just walked out and said, I'm going to hit Jamie Hayter in the back with a chair. And that's what she did. And they had no interaction previous to that. Okay, I hate you now because Tony said so. Here's a chair.
That's the
Bam!
correct answer, because Tony Khan is an invalid moron when it comes to this. Anyway, we're going to keep moving on because they say Tits McGee returns next week. I'm sure all the virgins are happy about that. And then Jim Ross went. I said she returns. You're going there.
She said
not
she's
me.
coming. It said Mina. The screen said Mina Shirakawa is coming.
What is wrong with you?
I'll be seated for that, Don. Tits McGee.
She's back. Jim
She
Ross.
loved you a long time, Don. She loved you a long time.
I'm not talking about Tits McGee anymore. I'm moving on to Jim Ross. Says that
I'm
Okada
sure right
has,
now,
my God.
Jim Ross is in his hotel room with a bottle of Grey Goose vodka, sipping on it, and right out of the bottle, dreaming of Tits McGee. Go ahead.
Jim Ross says Okada
by God,
has the
I hope she's
charisma. Jim Ross says Okada has charisma that no one's seen. He's got charisma up the wazoo. And did you notice the masked goof was talking in really hushed tones during the segment, and it sounded completely ridiculous? This guy should not be your main commentator, and it's never been more apparent than when he's talking here. God, this show was so bad.
Excalibur and Tony Schiavone, put them on Collision. Your main show is Dynamite. Hire a professional announcer. Hire somebody. I would throw all the money in the world at Joey Styles if he wanted to come back to announcing professional wrestling. Throw all the money in the world at Joey Styles. I would throw all the money in the world at...
you could go down a long list. It doesn't matter.
Of people.
There's so many people that should be in this position other than this utter jackass who sounds like a mark and is one. He's doing commentary in a mask, and no one can take this clown seriously.
No.
No one.
It's ridiculous. Nigel McGuinness is doing as best as he can to counteract the other two goofs. He's a good heel commentator. Taz is a good color commentator.
He's great.
He's great. I can't wait till Taz comes back. But Schiavone, Excalibur, put them on Collision. Have somebody else for the main show. You had somebody who could have went on the main show, but you let him go.
I'm not going to cover this match because it was Kyle Fletcher, and the haircut is awful with Takeshita. Ping Pong comes out, and his guy was Hobbs. Hobbs was the highlight of this whole thing. Again, I don't give a shit anymore because it ended in nonsense, as it always does. You never
Adam
get
Cole
a clean
comes
finish.
Out.
Yeah,
because
you just never get
they
anything
announced
clean.
Backstage Adam Cole's going to face Takeshita next week. So right away, Adam Cole's got to run down to the ring and get involved and beat up Takeshita, which we just showed a picture of that. And the size disparity is going to be so comical. Why don't you just have Omos come in and face Adam Cole? Why don't you just do that?
Have my grandmother come in. Have my grandmother come in and just pin her clean in the ring. Pin her clean. One kick, she'll go down. I promise she'll do the job.
It's just amazing.
Because she's dead.
It's just, I got you. They bottomed out to 455, the lowest rating of the show. And then in the overrun, the 9-minute overrun, it went up 4,000 people to 460. Because probably people wanted to say, hey, what's going on here in Dynamite?
What's going on in this channel?
How are they killing this promotion? The post-match, Adam Cole came out. Mark Davis, the former tag team partner, Kyle Fletcher, he hulked up, and he's out of shape, of course. Oh, he just got back from being hurt. Work out, dude. Work out before you come on TV. Don't take your shirt off. Lance Archer and Brian Cage came out for reasons. Why did they come out? They're affiliated now with Jake Roberts.
Yes.
So
why are
Jake
they
Roberts
here with
isn't even
these
on
jackasses?
TV. He's not even there on TV. Jake Roberts isn't. Why would you have... God. And then Will Ospreay came out, Don. And we got to talk about the state Will Ospreay was in.
Okay, we're going to talk about this. Look, Will Ospreay is not in bad shape, but it's clearly he has not been hitting the gym like he used to be.
For the past month.
Yeah, it's clear he has not been... Look, he's
hurt. You saw the kinesio tape on him.
Yeah, I'm a fat
With the
middle-aged
neck, with the
guy. I'm not
shoulders.
paid to work out and do wrestling shows. If I was, I'd be in the gym 4 hours a day, probably 5.
Right.
That's the job, to look the part. Even if you can't throw a punch worth of shit, if you can work, you're the guy. This guy can work to a point. I'm not a fan of his style of matches. He's got that Kenny Omega complex where he doesn't sell for shit and does 500 moves and none of them mean a damn thing. But you got to work out. You got to do the cardio. You got to hit the weights. My fat ass can go to my gym in my garage and do 45 minutes every 3 days a week. I can even do that. It ain't that hard for these guys that are getting paid millions of dollars to look the part of a professional wrestler.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. I've seen clips of Adam Cole on Twitch. He looks more comfortable being a Twitch streamer than being a professional wrestler. He looks like he's having more fun enjoying life that way. And locked in one room with a camera on him and playing, Resident Evil 9 or whatever the kids play nowadays. It's
Debbie
ridiculous.
Does Dallas, I think, is a new one.
Was that actually a game now? Will Ospreay looked horrible last night. He looked like he hadn't touched a weight.
I wouldn't say he looked horrible,
like
but he doesn't look like he's working out like he should.
He looks like he's hurt with kinesio tape all over his neck and his shoulder blades and his traps. He looks like he's nursing an injury. He looks like he got hurt somewhere along the lines. And he hasn't been on TV in a month. He hasn't worked out in a month. He looked horrible. I don't know what's going on with his hair either. The hair was dark.
I noticed it too. Like, why the hell did Kyle shave his head if this dude's going to let his hair grow out and go dark? What the hell is that about?
I don't understand any of it. And why would you call Ospreay to come back if he's hurt? Why would you do that if he's hurt? Why? Why you need him? You had Powerhouse Hobbs come out. Obviously, Ospreay, we talked about who's going to be the partner for Ping Pong. Who's going to be Ping Pong's partner? And you even said it's going to be Ospreay.
I thought it was going to be Ospreay.
That makes sense. It's going to be Ospreay.
Nope.
Or it could have been Mark Davis, who was Kyle Fletcher's other tag team partner.
Which that
Mark
dude
Davis.
came out later that made no damn sense.
He looked like a homeless man walking into the ring.
Just wandering in.
Wandering in. They said there was free Woo energy drinks in here. That's why I'm here. Where are the Woo energy drinks?
Where's the Woo energy drinks? We got rid of those, pal. They tasted like mushroom pricks. Oh, my bad.
So Mark Davis got his ass beat. And then Lance Archer and Brian Cage come out. And then Powerhouse Hobbs wakes up with Ping Pong.
Again.
And they clear the ring.
It's a complete clusterflop at the end of every show, and it doesn't lead to anything. It's just a bunch of bodies in the ring kicking the shit out of each other when it's all said and done. Anyway,
hard times.
Thank you all.
Hard times. Hard times,
Thank
Don.
you all for watching today. We appreciate you.
Yes. AEW's fallen on hard times, Don.
I want to say
But
thank you all for watching tonight.
How many times are you going to say that?
I'm going to say it again.
Thank you all for watching tonight.
Please like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button. We will talk about how to fix it in the near future, but it ain't going to be tonight because this has been enough shitty wrestling for me. There's one guy that I know that if he'd have seen this shit, he'd have never watched it again.
That son of a bitch.
Till next week, Gordon Soley saying, so long from the Sunshine State. Till next week, Gordon Soley saying, so long from the Sunshine State.